This story must have happened 60 years ago, maybe 70 years ago. The Rebbe was just beginning to be Rebbe, and a woman came out of Russia. Her name was Mrs. Estulin. She had a lot of children, which became very wonderful rabbis and etc. And now they're all over the world. So she came into the Rebbe. She barely spoke English. She barely spoke anything. She spoke Russian and Yiddish. So the Rebbe gave her blessings, etc. And the Rebbe said to her that now that she is out of Russia, so she has to go and spread Judaism. So she said to the Rebbe, she doesn't understand the language. She doesn't understand English. Where's she going to go? So the Rebbe said, "Don't worry, you go and give out Shabbos candles to women." Now, this we're talking about like in the 50s, maybe in the early 60s, when it was not popular at all to go and talk to people on the street, non-religious Jews, about religion, about Judaism. It wasn't a popular thing to do. A lot of the Jews, especially, they were Holocaust survivors or communist survivors, and they were fleeing from persecution. In America, they didn't persecute you if you just kept a low profile. You were like everybody else, right? So that's what's anyway. So the Rebbe said, no, that's not what you should do. You have to go and spread out Judaism and to the. So okay, the Rebbe said that's what she had to do. So she went and she got some candles, and she decided she was going to. It could be she went with other women, but anyway, she decided she'll go to a nearby hospital. And so she went to a hospital, and the women all separated. They all went to their different places. And she went into one room, and she said, "Hello, I'm from the Lubavitcher Rebbe." Immediately, the lady that was there, she didn't even let her get a word out of her mouth. She said, "Hello, I am from," and this lady started to curse her, "Get out of my room, get out of it. I don't want to see you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to have any connection with you. Leave, get out of here. You religious people are terrible. You this and this." So this was a pretty big setback for this Mrs. Estulin, because, first of all, the Rebbe told her to go, and she didn't really want to go herself anyway, so she was going on on, how do you say, weak batteries, and she would very much have liked to just leave the room, So she said, "I'm sorry." This lady was screaming at her. Why? She said, "Well, I just, the Lubavitcher Rebbe just want," she was trying to get a word out. And this lady that was screaming at her said, "Lubavitcher Rebbe?" She said, "Yes." So the lady started to speak to her in Russian. So she spoke back in Russian. "You know the Lubavitcher Rebbe?" "Yes." "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." She said, "I'm sorry. I yelled at you. I didn't mean it." Okay, so what's the story? Let me just have a second. Yeah, that's right. So she said, "Oh, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, he saved my brother's life. I'm sorry that I yelled at you. Please come in, come in." So what have you got over there? So she explained, about the candles and shop. What's the story with Lubavitcher Rebbe? So she says like this, that she and her brother came together to America from Russia. And her brother didn't find work. And he got more and more dejected. It could be that, no, her brother came first. There's another story which is very similar to this, but her brother came first. And he couldn't find work. And he became very depressed. And he started writing letters about how he was considering even committing suicide. He didn't have any money. He didn't have any success. He didn't have anywhere. He didn't have anywhere to live, didn't have any food to eat. And he didn't know what to do. He didn't have any papers, so he couldn't get any benefits. He couldn't this, and he didn't know where to go. He didn't really know the language. And so he was considering to put an end to his life. And she tried to write to him to tell him that, and then he just stopped writing. So she had no way. She was in Russia. She was stuck in Russia. She had no idea. This is what she says. She had no idea if her brother was alive or if he wasn't, and they were very close, her and her brother. After a few months, whatever, of totally uncertainty, and she didn't know who to ask. She had no way. She got a letter back from her brother, and her brother said that if the fact that I'm alive now is only because of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Said, what happened? She said that I decided I'm going to put an end to my life. And I walked to a bridge, and I thought I'll jump over the bridge. I will jump into the cold water. It was freezing cold. I'll put an end to my life. And there was a young man there, and he asked me to put on tefillin, a young man. So at first I refused, and then I said, "What have I got to lose? Another minute I'm going to go and kill myself. So what have I got to lose in it?" So I said, "Okay." So the young man said, "What are you doing? Where are you going?" I guess maybe he didn't have a coat on, or where are you going? So he said, "I told him. I said, I'm going to." And the young man said, "Well, what do you want to do a stupid thing like that for? Why would you want to kill yourself? And what possible benefit will that be?" So he said, I talked to him. I told him my troubles. I told him. So he said, "Listen, you want to commit suicide? Commit suicide in another day or two. What difference does it make when you commit suicide? First, come to see the Lubavitcher Rebbe." So the young man convinced me. I figured, also, I got nothing to lose. So I went in to see the Lubavitcher Rebbe. He said, what the Rebbe said to me is not important, but all I know is that when I came out a totally different man, a totally different man. And now I came out with optimism, and I came out with a positive idea. And now I found a job. And if you have a brother today, it's because of Lubavitch. Now let me see those candles. Tell me what to do with the candles, and I'll do it. So it ended up that there were two actually miracles in the story. One miracle was that her brother is alive. And the other miracle is that the woman didn't know exactly what to do with the first miracle, how to express it. And when Mrs. Estulin came in, so she told her about Shabbos candles, and that she could be more connected to other people just like her, that a lot of Russian speaking, Chabad came from Russia. She gave her addresses and told she'd be in touch with her. So not only did the Rebbe do a miracle, but also perhaps even a bigger miracle, that her and her brother had a way to thank the creator of the universe for this big miracle. And so we see that if a person is just brave and just does not pay attention to the opposition of the world and to all the doubts, is that it opens up doors to very, very positive and wonderful surprises. Have a good day with Mashiach now. Thank you for coming. Tomorrow, God willing, 8 o'clock in the morning, we're learning again.